Hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Rooted Futures, doing another reading. First of all, let me thank all of you who are joining my Patreon. It's it was an endeavor that I wanted to start months ago, and I just kind of finally got around to it with my work schedule, just trying to work things out to make some readings, do some recordings. And so, here it is, and I'm going to keep adding to the Patreon, but also adding to my YouTube channel so that we could continue to build the kind of community that we want of like-minded people who want to work together in this realm, the imaginal, spiritual, creative realm. I don't want to be the only one doing readings. And I imagine that when we start up the third tier, that we'll be doing some community readings and sharing our wisdom. You bringing your own deck and I bringing my decks, and we kind of just do some group readings. That's a vision that I have, right? So I picture that happening. So if you haven't joined already, my Patreon is patreon.com /rooted futures. I will leave the link below. This reading that we're going to do right now is more for the collective. And, it is an extension of a brief reading that I put on TikTok because I got some contact this morning from grandmother spirits. And their energy is still alive in my space, in my energy. And so I thought that I would expand on some of the things that they were saying in the TikTok video and put it on here for YouTube. So this is going to be for the public. And then I will be doing some other readings for my Patreon only members. And again, I want to thank those Patreon members for making all of this work that I'm doing, like supporting it and helping it to grow and expand. So I appreciate that a lot. If you didn't get a chance to watch that TikTok video, the grandmothers were really talking about ancestral work, ancestral reciprocity. And right now, it's so important for us to understand what ancestral reciprocity exactly is. I think many of us have grown up, many of us, not all of us, many of us have grown up in environments where religion or spiritual practice is actually very passive. Like you go, you pray, you ask for something, and then you wait for it to happen. And everybody knows that model. But when you're doing ancestral work, it's actually based on reciprocity. It's based on you giving the ancestors the energy they need while they return that energy. And that energy can look a number of different ways, such as blessings, such as insights, such as your own channeled messages. And so it's important for us to realize that this work that we're embarking on, because many of us are waking up to our ancestral work. Many of us are waking up to the fact that we need to return back to our indigenous practices, regardless of what culture we belong to. So a lot of this collective is about reconnecting to the energies that maybe we knew while they were alive, and there might be energies we're connecting to that we never knew when they were alive. These were energies that were born maybe hundreds of years before we were born, or, in a different time period altogether. So this is what I'm going to do every week, is have a ancestral kitchen table talk. And this is for our grandmothers. I imagine and I picture and I'm seeing these grandmothers that kind of, they talk to each other over the fence. They go to each other's homes in the middle of the day, have a cup of tea. I'm seeing for some of them, they smoked a cigarette together, depending on the time period. That's totally true. They're in kind of their house coats, and they're sitting down at the kitchen table. And not only are they catching up with each other, They are sharing wisdom with each other. They're helping each other's out. Back in the day, this is how women supported each other. And it's not only women, but this we're looking at the energy of the divine feminine and how it keeps nurturing and supporting even outside of its own immediate family. So these energies, I'm going to call them grandmotherly. Um, and know that if it wasn't, if you weren't that connected to your exact grandmother or that grandmother is still alive, these are earlier great grandmother, great great grandmother, great 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 grandmother energies that we're talking about. Um, so for some of you, this is older matriarchal energies. And, right before I got started, some of them were saying that many of you out there need to listen to your intuition. You've got the Mother of Sticks here. So it's like Queen of Wand is someone who takes action on what she is visualizing. Not only does she have the vision, not only is she creating the vision for herself, and this doesn't have to be a gender. So not only is this energy creating a vision for themselves, they're actually acting on it. It could be a fire sign for some of you, but what I want to say here, because this Nine of Knives came out, which is like a Nine of Swords, is that some of you are understanding that you need to walk away from mind games, from mind traps. For some of you, this is mind games with other people. For some of you, it's mind games that you have with yourself, like you're gaslighting yourself. And how that relates to what the grandmothers are talking about at the kitchen table, I get a sense that they're going to start to ramp up their communication with you. A lot of what you've been doing, if you took advantage of that Lionsgate work of declaring yourself as sovereign, your ancestors are going to take that declaration and begin to ramp up their communications with you. They want you to know so much. There's so much they're telling me that they need to prepare you for. And so when you start to get into this Mother of Wands, Queen of Wands energy, it's telling you to get ready, get prepared to act on the things that they've been talking to you about, that they've been sending to you in your dreams. Some of you have just been having, I'm getting, I don't know if this is the word, blips of information, pieces of information, waking or asleep. Yeah, I thought one of my cards came out. I'm going to keep, oh, there it is. Yeah. And here it is. It's, you're being prepared to understand how to work with all of these different spiritual energies. You're going to be working with energies of your ancestors that are more recently related to you. And you're going to be working with the energies of community ancestors. That's what I'm hearing for some of you, that are not people necessarily in your bloodline, but people who are very beneficial, spirit energies that have been very beneficial to your community, who have passed on. Some of you are going to be called to this. If you see the free man has connected with the energies that have recently departed, has just emerged from their visit in the cemetery. So there's a way in which this free man has received all the information they need, and they're taking that information resourced and moving out into community to fulfill their purpose. So yeah, there's something for there's something in that for some of you. You've been receiving a lot of downloads lately. Maybe you've finished some particular kind of studies. I'm getting that some of you might be herbalists. Whatever it is that you've been doing in terms of studying and gathering knowledge for your purpose, for the community, it's arrived. It's arrived. And the grandmothers are talking about that. They want you to know that You are no longer the apprentice. And that came up in the very beginning of the month as well. We have here Dr. Grant, which is the Hermit, and this is the Hoodoo Tarot. In case you want to know what deck this is, and I did a review of this deck on my Patreon. So Dr. Grant is, yeah, you've spent a lot of time honing your craft. Many of you have kind of kept all of this very close to your vest, like you haven't been sharing with others your goals, you haven't been sharing with others even your milestones. You've kind of just been keeping your head down, doing the work, taking in the information that the ancestors have been giving you. They want you to know that they think you're ready for the next steps in working with them. I wrote down that because right before I started to record, I wrote down that some of them have even said that you're going to start to receive information that you may at first question because it's so different from how they used to communicate with you. Yeah, you have Mrs. Robinson right here, Miss Robinson. And there's a way in which their communications are going to start to change with you. You see how she's at the funeral home. You see how she's got the program that talks about the narrative of the person who has crossed over. For me, what I'm getting for this, you guys, is that this narrative right here that she's holding, this program, is about you, your old life, your old you. You have now crossed over into a new person, a person who's very clear about their path. Even though you may not know what the path looks like, you're clear that you're on the right path. You're clear that the things that you're doing, communicating with your ancestors, developing a stronger relationship with them, feeding them, all of this has created a new you. And the old you is, like the ancestors are celebrating that part of you as well. Funerals and ceremonies of such, end of life, they have more to do about the cycle. And so Miss Robinson is showing up here to signify that you are in a new cycle. The old self that you relied on for all these years that may have needed a lot of healing is at a point where it's no longer needed. You're a new embodiment of spirit. You are a new embodiment of spirit. That's what they're saying. I think some of you are going to start to get special instructions. This is the big queen. This is the big queen. Like old ancestor for some of you. You're going to start to get instructions on how they want things done. This is going to be unusual for some of you. For a long time, I'm seeing that some of you have just been, you've not just, but you've created an altar. You've put out the water, the flowers, the candles. You've been doing that in a very consistent way, talking to your ancestors, doing your prayers with your ancestors. And now you're going to start to get instructions. And I'm seeing that in terms of some of you are going to get instructions that you're going to find. I wouldn't label them this way, but I'm hearing that they think you're going to think they're odd instructions. They may have specific things that they want to eat, things that you have never prepared, but you're at the store and you're like, maybe I should fix this old rice dish that my grandmother used to make, or a cake that my mother used to make. There's going to be, or I get this particular gin, or I get this particular rum. You're going to start to get instructions from them, not only about how they want to be fed, but also about where they want to communicate with you. Some of you are going to be instructed to go to a certain place in nature and bring your offerings. That's what I'm seeing for some of you. So the ancestors are saying right now that things that you used to hear as a small child that other adults would refer to as superstition, um, you're going to see is not the case, because they're reminding you, no, we need to do this work. And so, wow, they just wanted to talk a lot on that. Um, it takes strength to follow this path. This is not the usual path. Although this path is quite normal, that's what they're telling me. It is not abnormal. It's quite normal, this path, but it is not the usual path. As we begin to cross over, you need to understand that the path that they're leading you on is your unique path. It's going to take a lot of strength. It's going to take you not caring what others are doing or looking at, especially when you go out into nature and make your offerings. There might be other people walking around. It might be like a hiking trail. You never know. And you may run across people and they're like, like, you still need to do the work that you're there to do. They're showing me that for some people. Don't be so concerned about what other people are going to interpret as this work. And at the same time, you don't need to feel the need to explain anything to them, and you can hold boundaries with your practice as well. You've got this 9 of coins. What you're going to see now, as this 9 of coins goes into a 10 of pentacles energy, because 9 of coins is 9 of pentacles, you're going to start to see that the wealth that you have now, the prosperity that you have now, expands. It's starting to expand into a 10 of pentacles energy. All of your wishes have been fulfilled at the 9 of pentacles. And you're starting to see that now you can even explore with your own imagination the things that you want to do with your wealth. You are heading towards the ability to create generational wealth. Even if you don't have any children right now, you can create generational wealth for your nibblings, for your nieces or nephews. You can create generational wealth even for other people in the community. So they're telling me that. You've got this 8 of swords here. And this 8 of swords here is saying that you need to understand that the path that you are getting ready to walk, there's not a lot of instruction for it. And what I want to say here is that some of you will feel almost the need, because you're so used to learning this way, you want to find a leader, a teacher, a guru to teach you. And the ancestors are saying this particular part of the work, while all those things are good, finding people who can mentor you, finding people who can teach you about the cultural ways, while all of that is good, this ancestral work is between you and them. That's exactly what they're saying. This ancestral work is between you and them. What they're asking you to do, they're asking you to receive as your own knowledge, your own wisdom. You also got 8 of coins here, 8 of pentacles. What they're offering you is a long line of wisdom being passed down. You are receiving directly the spells, the herbal concoctions. You're receiving downloads about where you need to go, what you need to go, when you need to do things. All of this is coming from, they're using the word a registry, but I think like a book, a cosmic book of your own bloodline's wisdom. That exists. They're showing it to me. It's like a cosmic book of wisdom that it contains all of your ancestral knowledge. And that's being handed to you in this spirit time. It's being handed to you. It's being downloaded to you. That is why you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe that this is what's happening for you. Some of you might feel like, am I going crazy? Like, am I delusional? Am I imagining things? And they want to let you know that you are not. You've got the 7 of swords here. You're not imagining anything. You are developing. You're developing the insight and the wisdom. You're connecting with it and you're developing it even further. Because the ancestors are saying to me, even right now, they don't have all of the answers. What they have is they're giving you the wisdom that they used, and they're counting on you because of where you are in your life to contribute your own chapter to this book of wisdom, to add your own ingredients to the recipe. Do you hear me, guys? To add your own special ingredients to the recipe, to the ancestral lineage knowledge bank. It's like the word I'm trying to use. It's like you're adding to it, you're contributing to it. And lastly, you've got this Ace of Sticks. You've got Ace of Wands. They're saying act now. Some of you have information that was downloaded to you in this last new moon, and they're like, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? You need to like act on the things that we've been asking you to do, not tomorrow, not next weekend, but now. If some of you have been told to clean up your house, to get rid of old stuff, continue to do that. They want you to act now on those things. If some of you are being told you need to make a space for us, you need to offer us water and food, do it now. They're saying that it doesn't matter how small it is, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't need to be elaborate. They're telling me you can use a bookshelf. They're saying you can blend it in if you live with other people who are not yet ready for the ancestral veneration. They're saying anything small that just you can use as a energetic portal to connect with them. They think it's necessary right now to start wherever you are. They don't want you to be elaborate with this. They're saying that you could save that for deities who have your head. They're saying that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for an elaborate altar. Some of you are waiting to get pictures printed and framed. They're saying that's beautiful, and let's just start with a candle and a glass of water. So yeah, they're here. They want deeper connection. They're showing up as you've got this Four of Baskets here. They're saying that they're trying to offer you the wisdom. They're trying to offer you the ancestral guidance, and they don't want you to be resistant. They don't want you to think it's pretend. They don't want you to think that it's all in your imagination. It's not. It's not. Yeah, it's not in your imagination. So let's wrap this up with one, or let's just see if there's a closing message. What I'm getting from them is that you are going to hear things, feel things. For some of you, you're clairaudient. For some of you, you have clairvoyance. They're saying you're going to hear things, you're going to see things, you're going to dream things, you're just going to know things. Act on them. Don't be afraid. It's not your imagination. A lot of things might be coming towards you, but it's not your imagination. It's not a delusion. It's information that's here for you. Okay, collective, you have that instruction, you have that guidance. This has been your kitchen table talk from your grandmother spirit team, and I'm really grateful that they use me as a vessel for this. And like this video, if it resonates with you, leave a comment if you decide to do something, or there's something that you can share with the rest of us that seems like a good practice that you could pass on with their permission. Do that. Give us the opportunity to start sharing this information. Okay, take care. Peace.